Hello, everyone. My name's John Paul. I'm AAA Northeast car doctor, and from time to time, I get to talk to interesting people on car conversations with. And this time, the with is with Jamie Brewer. She is the vehicle chief engineer at General Motors, and especially for the Cadillac Lyric. Jamie, thank you for joining us on Car Conversations.
Well, thanks for having me, John.
Well, the Cadillac Lyric is Cadillac's all electric vehicle. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so the Cadillac Lyric is Cadillac's very first all electric vehicle, and it's the first vehicle off of what's been known previously as our BEV 3, which is our third generation of dedicated EV architecture. So it will be a two-row SUV, five-seat vehicle with a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. It has about 300 miles of range on a full charge. But it will be a Cadillac. It will have all of the bells and whistles and all of the creature comforts and the luxury and the styling that is expected of a Cadillac. It comes with our new Ultium platform, so it will have the new Ultium battery chemistry as well as the drive units and the integrated power electronics that I'm sure you've heard so much about and that are rolling out across GM electric vehicle products, including the Hummer. But we will be the first Cadillac with it.
So, probably unlike the Hummer, though, it doesn't have 10,000 foot-pounds of torque, does it?
It does not have 10,000 foot-pounds of torque. It has 440 newton meters of torque, though, so it's still pretty good at 340 horsepower, and that's on the rear-wheel drive variant. We will eventually be bringing in an all-wheel drive variant, and we'll have some more numbers to share on all-wheel drive. So if you think about the Hummer, they have more drive units stacked up, and they also have more battery modules stacked up to get the energy and to get the power for the Hummer. And given the weight of the vehicle, it makes sense, right?
And you described the size of the battery. It's a pretty substantial size battery in this,
It
which I
is.
guess really leads to that 300 miles or so of range.
Correct. It's a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. If you think about it in terms of modules, if you look at the way the Ultium battery system has been engineered, it's been engineered in a very modular fashion. So we are able to stack and scale our batteries for small vehicles all the way up to the Hummer. So from a module perspective, our battery packs can handle anywhere from 6 modules, 8, 10, 12. The Hummer has 26 modules. On the Lyrics launch vehicle, it will be a 12 module battery pack, and that equates to about 100 kilowatt hours of energy.
And is it a vehicle that's going to be sold specifically in the United States, or is it going to be a vehicle that's sold worldwide?
It's going to be a global vehicle. So it has been revealed in the United States. It has also been revealed in China. It is launching in the United States first, but then it will start becoming available globally.
And is it basically the same car that would be here as, say, like in China?
Yes, with the exception of any regulatory differences that may be required. Yes, our goal is a global common product. Cadillac is a global brand, and the brand value of Cadillac is important to maintain from a consistency perspective. So when you get into the vehicle in the US or you get into the vehicle in China, it will be a Cadillac.
And to kind of put it in size perspective, sort of XT5-ish, is
But
that
longer wheelbase
okay?
and slightly wider. But
Okay.
yes.
So not quite an Escalade.
Not quite an Escalade, no,
Okay.
but we would call it an expressive Lux 3 segment, if you will, SUV. Low sloped roofline, still a nice wide stance, tons of interior occupant space as well as cargo space, lots of room, axle to dash. When you take a look at the front end, you're going to see a lot of axle to dash. You're going to notice a lot of front passenger compartment space. We did a lot of things in the design and the development of the battery pack and the way that we did our transmission shifters to really open up the space in the passenger compartment for the occupant. So it's going to feel extremely spacious to you. But I would take an XT5, slightly more wheelbase, slightly more width, and that's what you're looking at from a size perspective.
And this is a big part of Cadillac and General Motors' push to go all electric.
Yep.
The date I think is 2035.
We expect 30 new global EVs by 2025. And then, yeah, we want to go all electric. I believe 2035 is the date, but don't quote me on that. I don't have
Yep.
that off the top of my head. But yeah, significant push to go all electric within General Motors. And this third generation battery electric platform that the Lyriq is based off of, as well as the Ultium drive and the Ultium battery system, is really the cornerstone of that. And then Lyriq has the prestige of being the first vehicle off that platform.
And you mentioned batteries quite a few times. And um, how about battery production? Where is it? Where are the batteries coming from? Is it General Motors that's producing their own batteries? You're buying them separately? How's that work?
Yeah, so we have the joint venture now with LG Chem. So LTM Cells LLC, which is the joint venture now between General Motors and LG Chem. We are producing batteries through that joint venture. We have already announced a battery manufacturing site in Lordstown, Ohio. We had just recently, last couple of weeks, announced a second battery production site in Spring Hill, Tennessee. And the Cadillac Lyriq vehicle is actually been announced to be produced in Spring Hill, Tennessee as well. So we are setting up our vertical integration strategy, if you will, to make sure that we have batteries that we produce and that we own with LG Chem, and make sure that our supply chain is robust to our vehicle builds.
And some people have, there's range anxiety fears with
Mm-hmm.
electric vehicles. There's safety fears with electric vehicles. 300 miles of range seems to be, in my mind, seems to be that magic number that 300 miles can take you more places than you probably ever need to go on any given day. Was that the number that you were sort of shooting for based on some conversations you've had with potential customers?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, every major decision we've made as we've been developing both the third generation EV platform as well as the Ultium system and the Lyriq in general has been based on customer clinics and conversations with our customer base. As well as leveraging our 25 years of EV experience, right? If you think about General Motors history, we've been doing electric vehicles now for a very long time, as well as HEVs and PHEVs, et cetera. So we have a lot of knowledge in there. But we have spent significant time surveying our customers and talking to current EV drivers as well as EV considerers. We know that a typical average daily commute is about 40 miles. So when you look at a vehicle with 300 miles of range, when you look at a vehicle with the DC fast charging rates that we've got, I mean, we can DC fast charge up to 190 kilowatts. You can get 195 miles of range in half an hour. So when you look at the type of daily driving that our customers have, and you look at the speed with which we've enabled charging, we thought that 300 miles of range was sort of that sweet spot where we're able to provide them with the capability that they needed in a vehicle and still get to a price point that we thought was appropriate for the vehicle that we were delivering to the market.
And let's think about the range and the recharge time for a little bit. A 300-mile range, you're not going to go to zero, but you're going to find a place to recharge. You're going to stop and have lunch somewhere,
Mhm.
and at where there's DC fast charging, and you're going to put another 200 miles into that car. So this is easily pick your stops a little bit, but this is easily a car you could drive from New England to Florida, just finding your stops along the way.
Yeah, and we're going to help you find those spots. We have an energy assistance app within the vehicle where you can map out your route, and it will recommend to you based on your preferences where to stop to charge, at what your range will be at certain points in time along the route, where there is a charge network along your route. You can specify the type of charger, if you want to use the EV Go, or if you have a certain type of charger that you want to use. Do you want a level 2 charge? Do you want to DC fast charge? You can put all of those requests and criterias right into the onboard app, and it will recommend for you. It will even tell you if there's chargers currently in use or chargers currently available to you. We're taking all of that guesswork out of it to really help you plan your trip with some confidence, so that you're not waiting around for a charger. We'll help guide you to where you need to get to so you can charge your vehicle and be on your way.
And my kind of EV research has shown that a lot of people are going to just charge at home. They're going to set up
Yeah.
charging stations at home, in their garages or
Mhm.
wherever. Is that kind of what your research has shown as well?
Yeah, it has. A high percentage of charging will happen first at home and second at work, with the on the go charging probably being third. The at home charging that we're offering, and we are offering highest by industry standards, we're going to offer up to 19.2 kilowatt level 2 AC charging at home. So that's the highest level 2 home charging available by the industry. And you can also obviously still use a 7.2, you can use an 11 kilowatt, but to go as high as 19.2 kilowatts, you're going to get somewhere around 52 miles an hour when you're plugged in at home, which is significant compared to EVs on the road today.
I just need to make sure I have enough electricity in my house for that, right?
Yeah, you got to make sure
Yeah.
that the amperage you've got coming out to your garage is suited to the kilowatts that you want, right? But
Right.
GM, if you go to I think it's Chevy Living Electric, they will actually help guide you as far as what amperage you need for what kilowatt, and make recommendations even on service providers and units to purchase.
Oh, that's great information to know. And again, the idea of this is not just an electric car, it's an electric Cadillac, and
Yes.
you get in a Cadillac and you expect a certain level of luxury. And the last Cadillac I was in also had Cadillac Super Cruise, which was
Yep.
pretty phenomenal. We'll see Super Cruise in the Lyric.
Absolutely. In fact, our first year of production, Super Cruise will be standard. So we're very excited. We'll have the next gen Super Cruise that you're seeing now in the Escalade. It'll have the lane change on demand. It'll have all the latest functions and features within it. And yeah, Super Cruise, it's one of my favorite features. I really enjoy driving with it. If you've seen any of the commercials that have been out there lately with celebrities that are using it for the first time and really enjoying the safety features of it, as well as just the convenience and comfort of it, you're going to start seeing more and more Super Cruise, I think. But yeah, for sure on the Lyric.
Yeah. And it really and Super Cruise, we know it's not going to take the place of the driver behind the wheel, but all of a sudden you become part of that driving team. So you're the driver, the car is helping you, and the
Mhm.
safety system all work together to make it a safe trip when you're out on the road. So that's one of it. But then there's the creature comforts inside a Cadillac.
Mhm.
And the last Cadillac I was in had and say an enormous display screen, took up the whole
Yeah.
dash, and it was
Yep.
seamless and beautiful, and it was well done. Is that the type of features we're going to see inside the Lyric?
Oh, absolutely. So, actually, the infotainment screen in the Lyric is probably one of my favorite features. It's going to be a 33-inch diagonal advanced LED display. It is going to have the highest pixel density in the industry. You're going to have more than a billion colors available on this screen. So the entire from the cluster all the way through the ICS area, the integrated center stack area, is going to be one large curved LED screen. It will be touch based, as well as having a multifunctional controller in the console area. So you'll be able to control your screen from a variety of different ways, as well as steering wheel control. So we're going to give the user a lot of options for how they want to control their content. You'll have a lot of opportunity to move apps around, set up your home screen the way you like, set up your all of your different search functions and settings, and it will be quite intuitive and also very interactive.
It sounds amazing, and so we have high tech features,
Mhm.
we have high tech drivetrain, but we still one of the things that we still count on with Cadillac is comfortable interior, comfortable seats, and Cadillac ride. And are we going to see that in the Lyric as well?
Yeah, I would say so. If we start with the seats, and seats happens to be a passion of mine because I've spent a lot of my career actually working in the area of the vehicle. And I will tell you, I'm extremely proud of the seats that you're going to have in this vehicle. We have cut no corners here. These seats, they are brand new seat architecture, just like the vehicle is a brand new architecture. It was the perfect time for us to start with a clean sheet of paper on the seats as well. We've made sure that from a width perspective, we made sure that from a foam thickness and density and firmness perspective, we are tuning these seats in to be some of our most comfortable ever. And I think that when you get in the vehicle and you drive it, you'll notice that. From a ride and handling perspective, though, I gotta tell you, the pre-production vehicles I've been in so far, and we're still in the tuning phases, but these are some of the most comfortable, easy riding, I'll say, vehicles, but also just road hugging and fun to drive. And a lot of that is attributed to the battery pack. If you think about all of that center of gravity so low in the vehicle, and part of the reason our stance is so wide is because we took the battery pack all the way out to the rockers, and we made the battery enclosure actually a structural member of the vehicle's chassis. So we've got all that inherent stiffness now from the battery pack right up into the vehicle structure. And so when you turn and when you corner, you're getting that great road hugging experience, but you're also getting, we've got the 5-link independent suspension in the rear, the 5-link SLA in the front. We did all of that from the ground up, again, because this was a blank piece of paper. So from a ride and a handling perspective, we've really, we've tuned this in quite a bit already, even in the pre-production phase. And so now we're doing the fine tuning details, I would say.
And it sounds like there's almost every aspect of this vehicle that you've been somehow involved with somewhere along the line, and you can tell how passionate you are about the car, which is fantastic. Even in its simplest ways, I will say I really like the idea that Cadillac brought a name back to the model rather than an alphanumeric designation. I just maybe it's a generational thing, but I like the idea of names. So I was happy to see that. The idea of an electric vehicle that offers everything that people would normally see in an internal combustion vehicle is fantastic to see, including that range and that home charging, the display inside, really bringing Cadillac name to, I think, where it needs to be, and just being a phenomenal vehicle. It's a pre-production vehicle now. It was introduced just a week or 10 days ago. How soon before we actually see production vehicles, and how soon before we go to the Cadillac dealer and buy one?
Yeah, so what we revealed is what the production vehicle will be. It's off our pre-production build facilities right now as we continue to ramp up. But we expect to launch in the first quarter of next year. So we'll start getting them, you'll start seeing them in late spring next year. I
Well,
think in
that's
September we'll start taking reservations.
so September reservations, uh, on sale, hopefully first quarter of 2022.
Mhm.
Has there been any kind of prices announced yet?
Yes, 59,995, I think is the number that I heard for the first launch variant that's coming out. So very, yeah,
Yeah,
not, it's a nice
so
price point for
yeah,
what we're getting.
I based on everything you told me up to this point, I was going to guess it ten to $15,000 higher.
Hmm.
You know,
Yep.
so that's fantastic
Yep.
news. If people want to keep up with Cadillac or General Motors electric vehicle efforts, where can they go? Can they? Is there a
Yeah,
website?
well, generalmotors.com. Yeah, so if you go right to generalmotors.com, it will direct you to all of our various brand sites. But at the Cadillac.com site, there is a specific lyric page that you can go to. It'll show you all the latest images, interior and exterior. It gives you a lot of the specs that I just talked through today in more detail. And it gives you opportunities to communicate and ask questions even about the lyric and get some more information. So, and then again, on the Chevy Living Electric site is where you can get a lot more information about our commitment to helping to build the charging infrastructure and some recommendations we might have if you want to put a charging station in your home.
Fantastic. I want to thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your day and joining us on AAA Car Conversations with.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.